Please stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Hassler.
Here.
Alderman Smith. Alderman Mooney.
Here.
Alderman Donovan.
Here.
Alderman Jokerst.
Here.
Alderman Jones.
Here.
Alderman Stupi.
Here.
Alderman Prince.
Here.
Alderman Rozika.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Gary did notify myself and Martin that he wouldn't be here for conflict. All right, a chance to look at your agenda.
Move approval. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Mr. Berger Boyer? You're up,
Hi,
Brad.
Randy. How you doing?
You're up.
I'm up first.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my mission here today is to talk to y'all about a Purple Heart City and here in St. Genevieve. I think everybody knows about the Missouri National Veterans Memorial Wall down at Perryville, and Perryville has become a Purple Heart City. So with that being said, I think with the wall going in, it's almost completed. They're going to have a grand opening on May 18th and 19th of May. So once that thing's opened up, I think they're going to generate a lot of visitors down there, and doing so, and them knowing that St. Genevieve is only 20 minutes away, it's a historical town, and we're a Purple Heart City. And I think we'll probably generate a lot of people up this area for the restaurants and hotels, because they won't be able to accommodate everybody down there if they get the turnout like they think they're going to get. So that's why we would like to make this a Purple Heart City. And I think we owe it to our veterans and our Purple Heart recipients that we have here. We got 33 on the board over at the American Legion, and the VFW has got quite a few of them. There will be no cost occurred to you, the city of St. Genevieve. The signs and everything will be funded by us through the American Legion, the SAL, the American Legion Riders, and the auxiliary. So I talked to the Board of Commissioners this morning, and I talked to them first last week, and I met with them again this morning, and they went ahead and okayed the proclamation for the county, and I got their proclamation here that they want on board, you know, and they're going to do it. So now I'm asking you people if you want to come aboard and help us do the Purple Heart City.
I don't see any reason not to.
For those of us that don't know what it all entails, what exactly is a Purple Heart City?
Well, it's to honor all the people, you know, that are veterans, that served in the service, that were either wounded or were killed in action, you know. So being the Purple Heart City, it'll put us on the map. We'll go into the Purple Heart magazine, and we'll get nationwide publicity and things like that, you know, and hoping we attract more visitors come here to St. Genevieve is what our goal is.
Isn't there some signs that get put up also?
We're going to put signs at the Purple Heart Trail. We'll put them out on like 61 north and south, and maybe at Bloomsdale coming down the highway, and the bigger ones we'll put on the Interstate 55 out there saying that on St. Genevieve is Purple Heart City.
I've seen those signs in other places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too.
Like I say, it won't cost the city or anybody like that any money. We're going to fund all them, so. It's going to take a little while to do it, because we got to get legislation approval. We got to get them physical zip codes, where the city is and all this kind of stuff, but we'll be taking care of all that too.
So with your consent, we'll prepare a proclamation and resolution at our meeting, and then Virgil will come with some other representatives.
On the 14th, I think you guys got another meeting.
Do a publicity thing.
And then that's when I will bring a bunch of our veterans in here, and Purple Heart recipients and the auxiliary and everybody to be on hand to take pictures and everything, so we get it in the press and everything like that.
Couldn't we help with a little bit of cost here? I mean, these are all non-for-profit. I don't know, I just think we should.
It's a good idea if we could do it.
Just got to figure out whose budget you want to take it out of.
Yeah. But like I said, there shouldn't be no cost to you guys. We've got to figure out what the signs are going to cost. I'm going to get a hold of the people at Perryville and find out how they done it, what their cost is, and hopefully have more information when I come back on the 14th about what it's going to cost for the signs and everything. But I know the legislation part of it is not going to cost us anything, because the chairman of the Purple Heart Association is the one that's going to be handling mostly the biggest news, publicize it.
Georgia, which wall are you talking about in Perryville?
The Vietnam Memorial Wall.
Okay.
Yeah, out there on Highway CC, I believe it is. AC. And that's when they're going to have the grand opening on May 18th and 19th. The wall is completely finished. I don't know if anybody here has been down here and looked at it.
No.
But the wall itself is done. They're working on the landscaping, the flagpoles, and the pavers are putting around in the flagpole with people's names on it that, was wounded or was killed in action. But the pavers themselves cost $250 a piece, and whoever wants to put one in can if you're a veteran. And right now, Roy Blunt, I got word a while ago that Roy Blunt's supposed to be down there tomorrow. I don't know what he's going to be doing down there, but he's supposed to be down there. And Jackie Smith is a spokesperson. Everybody knows Jackie Smith, the ex-Cardinal football player.
Yeah.
He's a spokesperson for him, so, but if you haven't seen it, I mean, it's identical to the one, it's a replica, not a replica, but identical to the one in Washington DC. The same granite, come from the same place overseas where they got theirs.
Scale though?
Yeah, up to scale, the whole works. Everything about it the same thing. And all the names, 68,200 and some odd people's names are on it,
Yeah,
So-
there's quite a few from around here on there, ain't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got I think we got 2 or 3 of them on there that was killed in action. Yeah, Freddie Shue, some of you guys might have remembered Freddie Shue and Meyer and
Sewell.
a couple of them that are on it
That's what I
down
was thinking about.
there. And just about all of us veterans has got people on the wall that we served with in Vietnam. While I was over there in 65 to 66 and 67.
Right.
That's when I received my Purple Heart. But like I say, I think we owe it to the veterans to, stand behind them and support them as much as we can. So being a Purple Heart city, I think that'll open up a lot of eyes to different people. So
Yeah,
Well, it's a good
Well,
idea.
maybe
Yeah.
we could even help with
Thanks,
installation
Virgil.
or something.
Thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Jimmy Donzie
That was
from
actually
the
one.
municipal band.
Well, I just want to say we did our 10 concerts last year. The German band upped their game a little bit last year. They also did 10 performances as well, and I think they're going to add an 11th for this year. Christmas concert went as we expected, and with the Christmas parade as well. We did do the German Fest, so I'm assuming that we're going to still have the German Fest again this year, so that'll be one of the other add-ons that the German band has done last year as well. We want to take $5,000 out of the overall budget to fund the grant program.
Do you recall how many grants you gave out last year?
Not off the top of my head, Mark.
Hate to put you on the spot.
There's a list of,
Looks like 12.
12.
Isn't this it right here?
yeah, on the second page.
Second page.
Second page under grants and performances. Any other questions? That's pretty much all I have.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thanks for the update.
Thank you.
Takes us to marketing reports, the administrator's report.
Okay, was at the last park board meeting, that's for Gary and Susie and Gary Smith. The park board tried to get the schools involved in producing a map of the parks that would be a graphic description of where the features are, and that didn't develop. So I contacted SEMO Regional Planning on their behalf, and they gave them a quote of $1,500 to do it professionally. So it's got a scale, and things are GPS located, and it's So they've agreed to use some of their money to employ SEMO Regional Planning to produce that.
Is that all the parks?
Yeah, well,
What, we got three? We have 3 or 4?
well, there are only 3 that, would be mappable, but it'd be Pere Marquette, Valley Spring, and Pinkley. Solid waste, I'm the chair of the solid waste district, and we had our grant cycle this year, and so the 2 projects in St. Genevieve, which are, that applied, is Wholesome for their annual household hazardous waste program, and they were awarded $29,960, and the recycling center is awarded $19,290 to do building repairs. They apparently have some maintenance issues, and there was $165,000 worth of applicants for about $130,000 of grant money available. So, for instance, we had to pare back Wholesome by about 20%, as we did many of them. The recycling center, on the other hand, got their full request. Sandra's here. She can talk about the Transportation Tax Commission, and that have the report here, the reconsideration of billboards, but I'll let her talk about that. Dave and I participated in a webinar that MML sponsored on medical marijuana. I think we learned a lot. I think we're ready to go. We know what the issues are. We know what the decisions are that need to be made by the board, that we can then codify, and it's basically a change in the zoning ordinance to add the activity and to determine where facilities are allowed and what zone districts and what setbacks. And for instance, the state has 1,000 feet from schools or churches, but it allows the municipality to be more stringent than that if you choose. So we're less.
So has that building already been purchased in the same thing?
Building has been purchased by someone who told us they have applied. Whether they get the permit is up to the state. They only applied for growing marijuana, not for processing, and certainly not for distribution.
So can the guidelines we set apply to that, means they've already purchased that?
That question was addressed, and there was a disagreement of the 2 attorneys on this webinar as to whether or not if someone bought a piece of property with the stated intention of using it, and we adopt a rule after that, are they entitled to that use? And there were disagreement on that issue.
Just because.
But I don't think that building would be a problem for us, because it's, we basically advised them when they were here that if they wanted to do it under the current regulations, they would need to, well, they're not going to be processing, but we advised them to consider rezoning it for industrial, because it's right up against the property that's zoned industrial, and that would kind of eliminate any questions as to the appropriateness of the use. And they didn't seem to have a problem with that. We were asked to attend a meeting with the French Colonial America, which is the New France, the other Colonial America renamed, and the mayor and I and Sandra, and we talked about a little bit about the past, but mostly about the future and how we can cooperate. And I kind of left the meeting with an understanding of how the city and they and the other sites are going to work together well in the future. And Sandra has followed up that meeting with correspondence and conversations with the director, so that we kind of restart this relationship on better footing. The AT&T sent us a revision to the lease, responding to my last comments. Mark reviewed it, He had some comments about things he'd like to see. I sent those comments. I didn't send his letter, but I redrafted those comments for their consideration, and I'm waiting to hear back from them on the cell tower lease. You may have read that the Heritage Commission approved a new structure in the historic district. That doesn't happen often. It'll be on site of one of the pieces of property that we acquired, demolished, and offered for sale. It's on Merchant, next to Nettie Miller, and so they approved a plan that's similar to, but actually kind of more in keeping with the character of the district. But there was a house that was built down here on Merchant Street, now a year ago or so. Market Street, and it's about that size, but it's got some different features that the Heritage Commission liked, actually.
Whatever happens to the lien on that property?
That one didn't have a lien on it. It's the one on
The other one.
32, and that lien's still in place. Chamber of Commerce has started as a leadership program, and chamber members have joined in, signed up, and the idea is to educate people on the kind of various aspects of life in St. Genevieve. So the first meeting of that was held. They meet once a month for how many? Mark's in the program, so how many meetings will there be?
I think 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah, once a month.
And city government was the first topic. So we met at the fire station. Talking about government is not the most exciting thing in the world. I like it, but I made my presentation. Eric made a presentation. Chief Stacker made a presentation and gave him a tour of the fire station, and the ladder truck had arrived that morning, so they got to see the new equipment. And from there, they went to the sheriff's, to the jail, and got a tour of that. I saw one of the participants later on. I asked him how it went. He said, "Well, no offense, but that jail is really interesting." No offense taken. We've talked from time to time about Citizen Electric's policies regarding change of service. After much conversation and a board meeting and an attorney's review, we have agreed that they will provide us notice when electric service changes for addresses that we provide to them, rental properties. So we have provided them an address of rental properties where the water is staying in the landlord's name. And when electric service changes on those properties, citizens will notify us. They aren't going to give us names. We don't need names. All we need to know is that it happened. And then we can see if we did an occupancy inspection, and if not, call the owner of the property and tell him that he needs to do that.
That's great.
Big step. Many of you have driven down Progress Parkway. Steve was just telling me he got calls last night because they were people with flashlights out on the water tower, but they're putting up their containment system. And apparently they're working all night. We attended a major event in the life of St. Genevieve. Mark had a ribbon cutting at his law office. Cool. His partners were here, and former partners were here, one anyway. And I had a good attendance. Lots of people showed up.
That's great.
And a couple of things that are not on it, but they happened since I talked to you. Since I wrote my report, which I have to do Tuesday. And the contractors came and met with the architect to review the proposed changes for City Hall. The architect's work revealed a lot about what's not right with this building. And so he drew up a set of plans that will bring it into compliance with the building code. Unfortunately, I don't know if we can afford it when it all comes down to it. We may have to make some decisions about what our priorities are. But we'll wait and see what the contractor's estimates are before we cross that bridge. But it's things like the entire attic is open, you know, and it's too much square footage, because what happens if there's a fire at one end of the building, the attic becomes a plenum for the air to send smoke and fire and flame quickly spreading throughout this. So you have to drop in walls. They aren't firewalls, but they're air stops to prevent that from happening. And it's things like that we just didn't think about or anticipate.
When are the bids due?
Eric?
We pushed it back to the 12th at noon so that we can get it on the agenda for the meeting on the 14th. So it was originally the 11th at 4. They really asked for that extra few hours to get them out of Monday. So I hope that was reasonable.
The other message we got is that they're all busy. And so if they're going to do a project, they want to be able to get in and get it done. So we'll have to talk to the successful bidder about how we might continue city operations during the construction period. They'd like us out of the way. So I don't know, we'll talk about it. And finally, PIVA called me, and I have a meeting set for March the 19th with Mr. PIVA from Italy to restart. He said he wanted to meet, or his representative did. I said, well, last time we had a meeting, I thought we left it with make an offer. Well, that's what we want. We want to have a meeting to do that. I said, no, you're going to have to put it in writing, but let's have a meeting. We'll have a meeting. So I'm going to meet with him. Okay.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
Thank you. Eric?
Yeah, exactly, I agree.
Good evening. How are you?
All right.
I believe I have some public relations money left in my budget. I would be happy to entertain helping with the signs out of my budget. I'll volunteer for that if you think that's reasonable. So I can talk to Virgil and see what the cost is and see what you guys have in mind as far as what.
We could help, as Bob pointed out, we could help with installation.
Yeah.
Since we could help them out.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Would love the opportunity to support that, so. Everything else is moving along. As Martin indicated, we had the pre-bid meeting with the contractors. Some good, some bad. We'll see how it turns out. So again, I appreciate 4 different main contractors, and then there were some subcontractors, a couple of electrical contractors, and some heating and air subcontractors. It was good. It was nice to have the architect here and have him fielding the questions instead of us. So
Yeah.
but I think it. I mean, there's a lot of improvements, like City Administrator Thomas said, that need to be addressed. Just health and safety concerns, and so hopefully it'll be reasonable, and we can massage it to fit what we need and budget and functionality. As I indicated on my staff report, we're 2 officers down now. We had one leave and go to Perryville, which is his hometown. And then the newest training officer that we had, the probationary officer, was resigned last Thursday. So we'll be looking to replace them. As you know, we got the bond issue put on the ballot for April. So we're forging ahead with that, and hopefully the outcome will be such that it'll be easier to attract some really good candidates when the time comes.
So did he leave just because of hometown, or was it?
The first officer, both, their starting salary is, I think, $18 an hour, which is about $5 an hour higher than ours. And then, like I said, it's his hometown, so it was kind of a win-win for him. Any other questions?
Is there any of the issues with the city hall? You said there were some code things. I mean, is this ADA things, or is this just building code?
Well, with the remodel, we will have to get into ADA compliance with the bathrooms and entrances and exits and doors, and But some of it is also, you know, like he mentioned, the plenum issue and, you know, the pipes that are above our city hall and some issues in the basement and, you know, how it's filtering through the air and making sure the air is, you know, there's enough air conditioner to support the areas that it's servicing and things of that nature. They said the roof is in really good shape. They went up and looked at it yesterday, so I know that was one of the concerns originally. He said it looked really good.
That's a relief.
Yeah. Silver lining. I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
There you go.
What was that look for?
No,
No? Okay. Well, if there's no questions, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Steve?
Evening, everyone. You guys all have my report there. Let's see, well number 3, down at the wells, that motor and pump finally failed. That thing had been in service since 2001 and had ran every day since. That's a very long life for a well. Hate to have to replace them, but that was a good one. Let's see. The high service pump number 2 is a water plant. We had talked in the past about they were trying to get that under warranty. That, of course, did not happen. It is in the process of being rebuilt now and be sent back to us here in the next week or 2.
Wasn't covered because of why? Warranty or that?
I haven't received that report back yet, but just so there was no delay, they went ahead and started the rebuild. But they do have pictures and a full breakdown of the motor and the cause of failure. So it was not a manufacturer defect. We did see some. We did do some exploratory digging on our raw water line. That's the line that runs from the wells to the water plant. You notice in some past reports I've shown like a decline in gallons per minute. It's not just something that's happened. It's happened over since day one. It just getting close. So we dug it up. We cleaned about 1,000 feet of the line ourselves, and we increased our gallons per minute by about 50 gallons per minute. That still leaves another 4,000 to 5,000 feet of line to be cleaned. There's different ways to go about doing that. One is chemical treatment, where they can go in and clean it just like a well. The other is mechanical, where they can go in with a pig or a jetting equipment and clean the line. Both have pros and cons. Money also comes into factor. So we're still weighing our options on that and coming up with the best route. But we will get that line cleaned one way or another.
Part of the problem now is that there's no access to the line from the wells to the plant. And so by doing what he's doing, he's providing access for future use, so the cleaning can be done in smaller increments and on a regular basis.
Yeah. So what we do is we go in and we'll dig down to the main. It's a sealed system right now. We cut in a T and bring it to grade and seal the system above ground. At any given point, we can shut the wells off, close some valves, remove the flange, and we have access to the inside of the pipe. We've never had that before. So
How big is it?
that's a 12-inch line.
Is there any, there's a downside to pigging it, ain't there?
The downside to pigging is when the pig gets blocked,
Right.
no matter where it's at, you have to dig it up. This route, we can plan where we dig up. And
Yeah.
The upside is that it does a thorough job.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, chemical is like putting dishwashing soap in a glass and swirling it around and pouring it out without taking a brush or a rag and getting and scrubbing it.
So how do you get the debris out of there?
It would have to be with a backer truck, something. Yeah.
Well, we did that one time, it's probably been about 20, 25 years ago. It was just the other day, wasn't it? I remember we did that. The pig. Yeah. Butcher's
Is there any questions?
Did you ever find out
Anything on that Clayton Street up there?
Yes. The metal they ordered for that
Okay.
showed up the wrong gauge,
Oh,
and so they did not manufacture it. They
but you
actually,
guys are on.
yeah, the new metal's been ordered.
Cool, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Sandra?
All right.
Good evening, everyone. So as Martin pointed out, both the Tourism Advisory Council and the Tourism Tax Commission met recently. What you have in front of you is a list of some of the things that were discussed at the Tourism Advisory Council for possibly ideas to celebrate the bicentennial in St. Genevieve. That's going to be in 2021, but there's already meetings and discussions about ideas. Some of these are pretty typical. Time capsule, memorial to St. Genevieve County residents who served in territorial positions at the time that the Missouri Constitution was being developed and during the Constitutional Convention that admitted Missouri as a state. Some other historical aspects of things, and then also some more fun contemporary things like a kids' day that would be hosted amongst the local historic sites and the museums. Perhaps a landscaped area along Market Street where that building is coming down, and to include maybe some bicentennial bricks and trees and such, bicentennial benches, and then one of the statewide competitions is going to be for a Missouri bicentennial quilt, and there'll be one quilt block from each of the Missouri counties. So I'm going to be meeting with the the St. Genevieve Quilting Club on Monday to talk to them about the idea of collectively putting together quilt blocks so that one can be sent forward to represent St. Genevieve in the statewide quilt, and then we can also have a St. Genevieve area quilt that could be displayed here. So there's lots of suggestions. There'll probably be a committee formed shortly, and Bob Mueller has also been very instrumental in this and helping us meet and look at the historical aspects of it, as you might imagine. So I just wanted to have that in front of you. And the TTC, that's the Tourism Tax Commission that is in charge of the 2% lodging tax that is collected inside city limits on rooms. They discussed and approved the addition of a billboard on Interstate 55. You will recall that we had those a few years ago, so we'll be present again on that interstate corridor. And Martin mentioned the chamber leadership training, and they went over some of the city aspects last week. They're going to be spending a full day on tourism and also a full day on economic development, and I'll be helping them with both of those programs. And then finally, on the back side of your sheet, you just have an updated list of the 2019 events. Thought it might be helpful for the aldermen to have those to know what their community events will be.
The location of the signs on 55.
Well, there's only going to be one so far, but that will be southbound on 55, just after you pass the Bloomsdale overpass. It will be on the left-hand side, so you're looking right at it there. It's kind of close to the Bloomsdale Medical Clinic. So it would say something to the effect of, St. Genevieve, next two exits.
So it's the one close to the interstate.
Yes, I'm sorry, it's on Interstate 55.
Right, but it's close to the interstate, not the one that's back off.
No. Oh, you're thinking about the one, that's kind of close to a silo over there.
Right.
Not that one.
Okay.
I think that's privately owned. This is by a professional sign company. Yeah.
There's a box of 4 of them right there as you're going south now.
Yeah. Yep, I know the one you mean. It's not that one. All right, yes.
The passports that you sell at the Welcome Center, what do they cover?
So they cover the historic sites that participate in offering a discount to their site for...
What sites are those?
I'm sorry?
Can I get a copy of that?
Sure.
Okay.
Come on down anytime. I'd be happy to go over the whole program with you if
Sure.
you want.
Any idea on the discussion between the National Park and the Colonial?
Well, so the status of that is that the Colonial Dames have offered those 5 properties for donation. There's a lot of paperwork that has to happen for the Department of the Interior and the National Park Service to accept that donation. They haven't shared a specific time frame, but probably it will be happening sometime this summer, as
Do you think
close as
that'll
we can.
speed up the whole process with the national parks?
Actually, their original target was to have the park established in June, so they'll probably actually take a step back to be able to accommodate this and make it all happen at once.
They were originally talking about one property, now they've got more.
Correct,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, it's a very positive development and certainly is a very generous gesture on their part. And it would mean a lot to connecting our downtown district with that St. Mary's Road district. So certainly we see it as a positive development.
The regional director, I guess is what he was, Cam.
Yes.
When he visited St. Genevieve, kind of changed the whole emphasis of what was being considered, because he said, well, you know, we ought to be in downtown instead of having this remote office out, you know, and be part of the whole. And I think that, you know, their whole expectation changed as a result of that series of visits that were done here with congressmen and senators, and it kind of took off.
Very much so. I think it'll take it to a whole new level of visitor experience and also visibility for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Is there anybody here for public comments? Joe, you don't have nothing from planning and zoning.
But he will next time.
That's right, next time he's gonna have
We
something.
got a meeting scheduled.
What was your comment?
He said he was gonna-
I almost said you skipped committee report. I was going to ask you the planning and zoning.
I said, don't you start now.
Oh, that's good. Any public comments? All right, takes us to our consent agenda.
Regarding the consent agenda,
Yes, sir?
on the minutes from the 14th, under Bill 4263, I'm sorry, 4262, it has me down as a nay. That is incorrect. I voted for that.
Votes right, but the ayes and nays are 4262 and 4263 are both wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Donnie brought that to my attention.
Okay, I'll
So-
change that.
Other than that, I would
Just typo.
move to approve with those corrections made. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good, thank you very much. Takes us to old business. Bill number 4264, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the city of St. Genevieve and St. Genevieve County Community Access Television Board, panel 990, 991.
Second.
Have a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Rozika?
Yes.
Alderman Prince?
Yes.
Alderman Stupi?
Yes.
Alderman Jones?
Yes.
Alderman Jokers?
Yes.
Alderman Donovan?
Yes.
Alderman Mooney?
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 4264 now becomes ordinance 4196.
Thank you very much. Takes us to bill number 4266, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the city of St. Genevieve and St. Genevieve County to assist in the funding and cooperation of the St. Genevieve County Recycling Center.
Move approval.
Second?
Have a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Jokers?
Yeah.
Alderman Jones?
Yes.
Alderman Stupi?
Yes.
Alderman Prince?
Yes.
Alderman Rozika?
Yes.
Alderman Donovan?
Yes.
Alderman Mooney?
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 4266 now becomes ordinance 4197.
Thank you. Takes us to bill number 4267, an ordinance, 4267, an ordinance
approving a bid proposal from Schulte Supply Incorporated, Edwardsville, Illinois, for the purchase of materials for the connection from the water system to the Progress Parkway Water Tower in the amount not to exceed $11,063.20, amending the water budget number 30.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Have a roll call, please.
Alderman Mooney.
Yes.
Alderman Donovan.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderman Rozika.
Yes.
Alderman Prince.
Yes.
Alderman Stupi.
Yes.
Alderman Jones.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 4267 now becomes ordinance 4198.
Thank you. Takes us to bill number 4268, an ordinance amending the City of St. Genevieve Code of Ordinances, Chapter 340, miscellaneous driving rules, Section 340.250, operation of a UTV vehicle as set forth below.
Motion approved. Second.
Have a roll call, please.
Alderman Prince.
Yes.
Alderman Stupi.
Yes.
Alderman Rozika.
Yes.
Alderman Jones.
Yes.
Alderman Mooney.
Yes.
Alderman Donovan.
I had a question and didn't get a chance to ask it. Didn't we require insurance also?
That's what this does.
That's what this is.
It's not required until now.
It was required before it was changing.
Or no, I'm sorry, not insurance, taxes is what this
No, I
does.
meant insurance.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that came up when you were
Right.
out with your surgery, and yes, we do require it, correct, Chief?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
okay. So we're good.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 4268 now becomes ordinance 4199.
Thank you. Takes us to new business. Bill number 4269, an ordinance of the City of St. Genevieve, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the City of St. Genevieve and the St. Genevieve Municipal Band.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Bill number.
I abstain due to my involvement in the municipal band. Just want to make sure that's on there. But I am in favor of it.
Hope so.
Okay. Takes us to bill number 4270, an ordinance approving a bid proposal from Wireless USA, Arnold, Missouri, for the purchase of an installation of a Firecom radio intercom system for the new ladder truck in the amount not to exceed $6,038.30.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Takes us to bill number 4271, an ordinance approving a bid proposal from Richard Stoll, St. Genevieve, Missouri, for the purchase of a 2010 Chevrolet Suburban in the amount not to exceed $17,000 and amending the Rural Fire Fund number 60.
I would like to have a little chat about this before we proceed. I mean, I read the attached paperwork, but I have a little bit of a problem with it from the standpoint, how much do they really need this? I mean, well, go ahead and answer and I'll.
Well, unfortunately, Kenny.
Yeah, I know, he's not here.
He really needs to be here to answer that question. Gary has some knowledge of it, I think. Did Kenny talk to you?
Yeah.
You want to come forward? My explanation, the explanation that he provided me is that Crown Vic is no longer roadworthy.
Okay.
Pretty tough.
I'm sorry?
It's pretty tough.
Well, that's pretty old. I don't dispute that.
You declared it surplus, and I'm going to offer it at auction on a public auction site.
Okay.
But we gave them another one. They gave us the brown one, we gave them the silver one. They got the last silver one that was retired just a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
So,
I'm out of the loop on that, so.
okay.
I mean, it's got fire on the side of it and everything. We already traded for that brown one.
So you explain what the need for this is.
This would be a response vehicle to respond to medical calls and stuff with a smaller vehicle. It could be used to pull the safe house and transport people for training
Okay.
and stuff like that.
I guess I didn't get that from,
Nelson mentioned that we have 2 trailers, but we only have 1
Yeah.
vehicle capable of
One truck.
pulling a trailer, so.
Gary, if you guys need it, why didn't you put it in the budget?
We went through a whole budget process.
Oh, Jimmy, don't go on,
I'm just saying though.
I have nothing to do with fire department budget, you know.
Okay.
I was just answering some questions here that.
Right, yeah. I just wasn't aware that when I read this, it was like that you guys needed it to go to training, which I didn't think was that often.
In your packet is a letter from, to Martin. Did you read the letter?
Yeah, I
in the packet?
Yeah,
I read the letter.
We're asking Gary a bunch of questions, and the man states the purchase, what it's for.
Yeah.
So, well, I just want,
This is first reading. You could act on it or choose to table it until Kenny could be here to talk about it.
I'll make a motion, we table.
I second.
All in favor of that?
Until the next meeting.
Until the next meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
If you read the last paragraph in this letter, that pretty well states that they're taking 2 vehicles now when they have.
Well, that's what I was saying. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll discuss that.
Yeah.
Okay. And the money's coming from the rural fire tag.
Yeah, but they budgeted 12,000 and now you want to increase the budget 23,000. That's what it says.
That's what it is. It's right. That's what it is.
I mean.
Yeah. I mean,
we had money in there for 12,000, then you're gonna double what you want the money for.
Well, very good. We'll wait for Kenny to get here.
yeah, I think we just need to go over it before we jump on anything.
Is there any other business?
Thank you.
If there's no other business, I'd like a motion to go into closed session.
Motion to go into closed session.
Second.
For personnel and for real estate.
Second.
Have a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Mooney.
Yes.
Alderman Donovan.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderman Jones.
Yes.
Alderman Stupi.
Yes.
Alderman Prince.
Yes.
Alderman Rozika.
Yes.
Motion carries.